Chefs, what is the beef? Cam here. Welcome to another video. Today's episode of Secrets of the Chef Fit Elite. These are the things that you're missing, okay? When I put this whole plan together and when I built Chef Fit, there was a specific way of doing things that I came up in mind with. The reason that I came up with these three things, sorry, dust on the keyboard there. The reason that I came up with these three things is because I understand that chefs have specific needs. Do you know what I mean? Like there is a specific set of circumstances that you're dealing with right now in your life. It's very, very, very rare for someone to do a 70-hour week, 14-hour days, you know what I mean? Working every weekend for 10 years, never having a bank holiday off. Like all of these late nights, let me see, early starts, not having a break in the middle of the day. Like all of these things become your life. And what I realized was that a lot of chefs do want to make a change, and a lot of chefs do want to get to the point where their life is very, very different. You know what I mean? Because right now it's like the bad habits have taken hold. You're in the shit. And because you're in the shit, you want to go and okay, I can't take this anymore. I need to do something. So what you'll do is you'll go and try some fucking quick fix. You'll go and try some diet. You'll go and try some program. You'll throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. But very, very rare is it that it does actually stick to the wall and it does work. Eventually you'll do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even a month or two. But eventually somewhere along the line, the train will come off the tracks and you'll end up back at square one. Why? Because you're lacking the three things that I'm about to show you. So when I built Chef Fit, it was like, okay, right, I know a couple of things. If I know a chef inside out, I know how I need to structure things. And this is what you got to understand, is that chefs need structure. It's all well and good saying chefs need structure, but what does that actually mean? It means you address these big three things. So how I imagine it is like, I call it a trifecta, but not to confuse you. It's like, there you go, there's an L triangle. So when I created the Chef Fit Elite method, there had to be three things involved here. There had to be three parts to it. A lot of chefs, a lot of you who are watching this, you generally just try one thing. So let's start up the top with the first and foremost, because without this, like it's like you're not going to be doing anything. So you want to change your life. You want to get your life back on track. You want to be happy again. You want to be healthy again. You want your confidence back. You want your energy, motivation, all of that. Cool. Here's the first step. The path. What's the path? The path is the thing that gets you from A to B. Like it's that simple. The path is the thing that gets you from A to B. The thing that you've got to understand is this is your gym program. This is what you're doing in the gym. This is your nutrition plan. This is how you operate in your day-to-day, like this is how you do things on a day-to-day basis. What's your routine in the morning? What's your routine at night? What's your routine in the gym? What's your structure with food? How do you operate? That's what a path is. What I've realized for chefs, this is the thing you need to understand, is that simplicity is key. Like simplicity is everything with the path. Do you understand? So like for me, you could say, I drill this into every chef I train. And it's like, listen, don't forget about overcomplicating things. Your first priority when you step into Chef Fit is move every single day. Move every day. Make a habit out of moving. Because if you can build a habit of exercise, of doing it regularly, all of a sudden everything in your life starts to change. Because when you feel good regularly from doing exercise, you got more energy, you got more motivation, your body feels better, you've got more productivity, you're more likely to do the things you're supposed to do. Why? Because you kept things so simple that it's foolproof. You can't not do it. It's like, oh, well, I'm not too sure what to do in the gym, or I'm not too sure here. Well, it's like, don't worry about the gym then. Go for a walk, go for a run, go for a cycle. It's like, do you know how to walk? Yes. Then what's stopping you? The only thing stopping you is yourself. So the idea here with the big three is this number one thing, the path, is about keeping it so simple that it takes the excuse away from you, that there is no excuse not to do it anymore. Whereas a lot of you will talk yourselves out of doing something. So you need to keep it simple where you can't make that excuse. The only excuse that pops in is weakness. Can't be bothered doing it today. It's like, yeah, cool. That's your call. But you can't blame it on the gym. You can't blame it on all these other fucking things, People are looking at me in the gym. I won't go in. Cool. Go for a walk, That's as simple as I can make it. So you can make move every day as complicated as you want or as simple as you want. It could be walk every day. It could be run some of the days. It could be cycle, swim. It could be going to the gym and using the cardio equipment. And then once you advance on a little bit, then you'll be lifting weights a couple of times a week. And then you can really push on the weights once you're more advanced in what you do. But that's the number one thing. The same thing goes with nutrition. It's like, as we have move every day as your exercise. Cool. Nutrition. Again, I want to remove the excuse from your hands. So like with nutrition, it's all about prep once a week, cook a pot of something, a chili, a stew, a curry, something along those lines. Prep a pot of something and then put half of it in the fridge, half of it in the freezer. And then you're just going to eat 2 to 3 meals a day, depending on what time you have. Some days you won't eat breakfast, some days you will eat breakfast. But the thing is, you need to be eating good, nutritious food 2 to 3 times a day and add some greens to that. That's it. Prep your food prep a fucking big pot of something for the week. That's your lunch and dinner. Have some greens on the side, like some spinach, some rocket, some lettuce, whatever, some kind of salad. And it's like, boom, there you go. That's your nutrition sorted. Rinse and repeat. Do it over and over and over again. Stop picking at shit. Stop eating sugar. Stop binge eating. And chances are, if you get that simple structure with your nutrition nailed down, you won't have to binge eat after work. You won't have to pick because you've got your food there ready to rock. So that's the path. Keep it super fucking simple. Move every day and prep your food for the week. Go. Stop bullshitting yourself. But that's all well and good. But will you actually sustain that by yourself? Chances are you probably won't. Chances are you will not. Why? Because accountability is everything. Do you have something in place that makes you do the thing that you said you would do? That's what accountability is. So accountability is really your environment. Who are you around? Who's keeping you honest? Do you know what I mean? Like if you imagine a flock of birds flying through the sky and they're trying to get that just looks like a hairy ball sack there. That's not great. You're in a flock of birds and the flock of birds are flying through the sky. They're trying to travel to the other side of the world. You'll notice when a flock of birds flies in unison that the energy generated off their wings from flapping at the same time creates momentum for every other bird in that flock who's flying behind. So as they actually fly faster and more efficient as a flock than they do by themselves. That's your environment. So are you around people who understand what you're doing, who are going through the same thing as you and are holding you accountable to do what you were supposed to do? Yes or no? Because if you don't, then chances are you're going to make excuses, you're going to stop, and then you're going to give up. But if you have accountability by having a good, strong environment of people who know what you're going through, then chances are you will make it happen. That's why Chef Fit is so powerful, because it is the tribe mentality. Like the lone wolf dies, the tribe survives. We're in it together. We make the push together. And because we make that push together, we're more than likely going to stick to it. Whereas if you only have yourself to make excuses to, you'll make the excuse, but you're not going to make the same excuse to someone else who's going through the same thing as you. That's what your environment is. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Spend your time with dickheads, you'll be a dickhead. Spend your time with positive people, you'll be positive. It's that simple. So what's your environment? In Chef Fit, that's what we try to create, is a powerful, strong environment where there's a high standard for what we do and we don't accept excuses from each other. And that's what keeps us on the path and keeps us pushing towards the goal. So that's number 2. Number 3 is really diving a little bit deeper. And the thing that a lot of you are missing is you're not adopting the identity of the person that you want to become. So let's say you are in the shit right now, Chef, okay? You're in a position where you're not in a good place, okay? You want to make the change and you're like, right, I'll try something. You'll go to the gym. But what always happens when you try something? You'll always end up making an excuse and going back to the same old shit that you were doing before. Why? Because you never shift your identity. Like, what does that actually mean? Identity means, who do you actually believe yourself to be? Who do you believe yourself to be? Genuinely. Like, who do you see yourself as? Because right now, I guarantee you see yourself as a tired, miserable, overworked chef who fucking, I'm a smoker, you're a drinker, you're a drug taker. You know what I mean? Like, this is your identity. That's the person you identify as. So when you identify as a smoker and a drinker and someone who's like unhealthy, your actions are going to match that. Your habits are going to build off the back of that identity. Whereas if you start identifying yourself as, let's say for me, for example, it's like, I will always, because I've been an athlete my whole life, that's been part of my identity. I've always identified as someone who's athletic. I've always identified as someone who takes care of themselves. So that's why I don't question why I go to the gym. That's why it's not one of those things where I really struggle to get up and exercise. No, sure, I'm not training as hard as I could be, but it's like, I'll always be doing something. Why? Because that's who I am. It's who I am. You know, like, I've been a rugby player, a powerlifter, a fucking trainer, a coach. Like, I've been doing this for years and it becomes who I am. It's a bit like you being a chef. It's like, it doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how shit you feel. Like, you'll still show up and cook. You'll still go into work and cook. Why? Because that's your identity. That's what a chef does. You're able to get through the adversity. You're able to keep pushing and you're able to make it happen in the kitchen no matter what. It doesn't matter what state you're in. You're still able to come in and cook decent food because that is your identity. So who do you see yourself as? Like, if you're not that person yet, the only way that you become and shift your identity is by nailing down the path and having an environment to the point where your habits start to change. Once the habits start to change, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. Well, I've been going to the gym consistently for like 3 or 4 months now. So now this is kind of normal to me. Like, I'm not going to go back to not doing anything. Like, this is a habit that I've built. Same thing with food. It's like, once you've followed a simple nutrition plan for long enough, all of a sudden then it's like, I'm not going to go back to not eating for 3 days and then spending 50 quid in a fucking takeaway and a load of booze. It's like, you're trying to maintain your identity. So you're not going to let the stupid old habits come back into your life. So once you change who you are by consistently taking action for a couple of months, then it's about looking at what happens. It's like your habits, your routines, and your rituals start to change. Like, here's an example. It's like, you ever hear someone who's trying to give up smoking and they get offered a cigarette on a night out and it's like, oh no, I'm trying to give up. So they said when someone offers them a cigarette, the first time they're offered the cigarette, they go, no, I'm trying to give up. That person won't give up because they still identify as a cigarette smoker. They still identify as a smoker. Think about that. They still identify as a smoker. I'm trying to give up, as opposed to going, no, I don't smoke. Like, there's one of those people still identifies as a smoker. The other one does not identify as a smoker. And the one who does not identify as a smoker will not smoke. Do you understand me? It's the same thing with you. It's like, if you start adopting this identity of, who's the person that I most look up to, like, that I want to be as fit as? Is there an athlete that you're like, fucking set your eyes on them? You know, who's that person that you want to be? And it's like, start to aspire to their habits and their routines. What would they do in this situation? It's like, I'm trying to go to the gym. It's like, no, I go to the gym because I'm an athletic, fit person who takes care of themselves. That's how I view myself. That's what I believe. Do you believe that to be true? If you do believe it to be true, then all of a sudden everything starts to change off the back of that. So this is the last thing that you're missing. You need to build and do something enough times that your identity shifts. Once you shift the identity after a couple of months, might take 6 months, might take a year. Once you get to that point, it becomes very, very hard to go back. You've passed the point of no return. And those are the 3 things that you need to nail down. A simple path, a strong environment of people who are going to keep you accountable, and then by nailing both of those first 2 down, you keep pushing, and eventually you're going to shift who you are and you're going to start to believe, because now you've got evidence. Keep getting the results, keep changing your life, and you've got evidence that you can change your life. You know, like, for me, I identify as an athlete because I've played at a high level. So I have evidence to show that I'm an athlete. Like, that's why I believe it. Whereas Mary down the road can't say the same thing because she hasn't competed. Like, you need evidence, and you get the evidence through doing the work. Once you get that evidence, it's like, it's a game changer. It really is. It's a game changer. So Chef Fit Elite Method, Those are your three things. If you could put them in place yourself, go for it. But I don't think you'd be able to sustain it, to be honest. And that's just facts. You know what I mean? I'm the same. Like you need accountability. You need coaching. So you can message me if you are interested in joining the Chef Fit Elite. This is what we coach you to do. This is what we get you to execute on. And if not, I hope it's been an informative one for you. Chef, we'll catch you in the next video. Stay safe.